All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. It is Thursday morning. It is 9:30 a.m. Cotton Cuts time. So our second question this week is from Ruth Ann Delacroix, joining us from Lafayette, Louisiana. Oh, Ruth, you know I love Louisiana. It has a special place in my heart. I love Louisiana. Go there all the time. So Ruth Ann asks us, do you think quilting guilds still serve an important purpose, or has the internet community replaced most of what a local guild used to offer? Oh, it's a fun question in a post-pandemic world. So I think quilting guilds definitely still serve a purpose. I think there is definitely a need for us to gather in person, for us to have those friends and those connections. I like the structure that guilds add towards that community building, right? That they serve a purpose. They have, when people ask me that aren't associated to this, what a guild is, I'm like, it's like that club you were in high school or college where you have a president and a vice president, treasurer, and secretary, and you have meetings and you have agendas and you have budgets and you have speakers and education. And so I feel like that definitely has a purpose. It adds structure and it gives you a framework for meeting, and it gives you an opportunity to find a community where you can come and align on a set of core values in person. And I have visited, I can't even tell you, like hundreds of quilt guilds. And I always do a trunk show and talk about cotton cuts and all the things we're doing. And I am always impressed that for quilt guild, the structure for most are very, very similar. I am always inspired by the show and share, by the show and share. And for me, I always stay for the guild meetings. They're like, hey, you can leave. I'm like, no, I actually really want to kind of see what your guild is making. And I'm always so inspired by the diversity of quilts that are being made and projects that are being made at a guild meeting. And for me, that fills my cup, that monthly kind of renewal of seeing what other people are finishing in person and then hearing them talk about it in their own voice and the pride and the story that they had when they're showing their quilts. I definitely do think that there is a need and a purpose for guilds in person to meet. Now, the internet, I would say, is kind of an enhancement of the guild experience. I would say it's really, really hard for me to get a hold of someone in my guild if I want to be like, hey, does this red look great next to this orange? I post that picture on the internet, and within 30 minutes, I have 75 answers. And that's just such an instantaneous feedback loop as a creator that I can't necessarily get from my guild. Yes, I'm sure my guild, we have text groups and we can probably post that picture there, but that's soliciting from like 8 to 10 people in that smaller group. Or I can post on my guild page and get a couple hundred. But if I post a picture in the Young and Millennial Quilters group, I'm going to get thousands of responses, you guys. And I think that is just an enhancement to the creative process that quilting is. And so I do think we need that in person. I do think that that's an opportunity, and that they do fantastic programming and education and in person. I mean, if I'm online or I'm watching a Zoom, I can ask a question. It may or may not get answered. I think they both are just very complementary. I think they're going to coexist together, and I don't think one will exist without the other. I think that they are two peas in the pod. I do believe we live in places where there are guild deserts. And, Yana has posted on here that Cotton Cuts Zoom on her society. So Cotton Cuts hosts a Zoom every Thursday. Or let me back up again. Cotton Cuts hosts a Zoom, our Cotton Cuts Society, once a month on Thursday evening. And so that's an informal guild, right? We've gathered quilters together. That's an open invitation. You can come and join us. There's no board. There's no finances. There's no programming. It's just a group of people who gather and sew together. It's a very informal guild. And we love it because it gets that connection. It gets that interaction, that face-to-face, all of the things together. And so, guilds do great work. The internet does great work. I think they go together. I think guilds are stronger because of the internet. And I think the guilds provide this thing that the internet cannot, which is that face-to-face connection. I can't even tell you how many times I've been on Facebook and in a group and have people saying like, hey, I live in such and such area. I live in Boise, Idaho, and I want to gather a group of quilters. Does anyone want to make a guild with me? And people jump on board with that. So the internet is facilitating that connection, and we still need the connection. All right, let me read some of your comments, you guys, because you guys have been posting while I've been yabbering over here. Let's see here. Ellen Ford is teaching her autistic grandson, who's 14 years old, just like Dominic, how to sew and the rhythm of the sewing machine. I love that, Ellen. I love the teaching of the sewing machine. Like I said, I've taught lots of kids at multiple ages, and they just soak up the information like a sponge. And I think there's something with the quilting process that children just absorb. My nephews are going to be here in 2 weeks, and I know my oldest is going to ask to sew because I taught him when I was with him at Thanksgiving. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. Kay Stevenson says a lot of beginning quilters learn from small groups and meeting workshops. Yes, that in person, if you are an in-person learner, I mean, I can watch a YouTube video, you guys, but I get lost. Like, I don't have that attention span for anything longer than 10 minutes or so. And so that in person where you can ask questions and you can hear other people ask questions and get them answered, it is super valuable. Hey, Kathy, no worries that you're late. We're totally hanging out here. Kay Stevenson also points out that guilds do a lot of charity quilts. So there's definitely a philanthropic event with a guild that can be done powerfully. We can also use the internet for that. A lot of quilt shops, we've done this in the past, hold challenges where you bring quilts and then you donate them for a specific kind of, we'll call a spike event. I know when there was hurricanes or when there was fires in Australia, a lot of quilt shops banded together and got their community to donate a lot of charity quilts and charity projects. Catherine loves her guild and the show and tell. I love the show and tell as well. Let's see here. Anne says she misses her Tuesday morning group. She had to move and can't find one here. We all helped each other make community quilts. Yes. And that in-person community is super hard to find. Hopefully you'll find something. There, I think, are over 6,500 guilds in the United States that are registered on websites. That doesn't count all the guilds that are meeting in basements of churches, that are meeting in neighborhoods. There are guilds everywhere for every person. So you guys, there's definitely an opportunity to find that in-person connection. And I'm a doer. If you don't have one, go make one. Go find some groups of people. And I know not everyone is that. Some people want to just show up and have fun. But if you are a driven individual, it might be a good opportunity to create something where there's nothing. Okay. That is our question. Thanks so much, Ruth Ann. I appreciate your question asking us about internet versus guilds. It was fantastic and a lovely little diversion like we always do.